What we're going to do now is something a bit fun and a bit different to show you, what could happen to an American during the course of their life and, mistakes they could make and how you avoid them, which the panel is going to help us with. Now, the idea that Nora and I had, which was a brilliant idea, was to get, 10 or 20 BAFTA award-winning actors and actresses up here to act out scenarios for you to make you happy. Then we discovered that actors weren't tax deductible, so we got it down to one. So it's my great pleasure to invite on stage a good friend of mine, Mr. Neil Mullarkey. Please come up, Neil. Now, many of you will find Neil familiar, not just from Crime Watch, but also because he is a founder of the Comedy Store Players. Have anybody been down the Comedy Store, seen the improv groups? He's a founder of that. You've been doing it how many years now, Neil?
26 and a half.
26 and a half. And in fact, he's got to rush straight from here to go on stage to do whatever they're going to throw at you. So what we're going to get Neil to do is to act out certain scenarios that might happen to an American. So he is going to be Ted, an American abroad. Here is his life. So he's going to do some stuff, and he's going to get some stuff horribly wrong, and the panel are going to hopefully get him out of a jam. So first, it's the class of 1950. He's aged very well. He's going to university, and you fall in love. So tell us what's happening to you, Ted, right now.
Well, I came here to study in London, and I fell in love with this place. I fell in love with a girl as well. Her name is Felicity. She's British.
Oh, she's in the audience, I think.
Yeah, well, there she's pretending to be Felicity there. And we did commingle. We met. We were young, and we had a great time. I'm having a great time with her now. Life is good. I'm just in love. Why wouldn't I be? She's great. I'm studying. I think I may stay here. I'm sorry that as yet marriage is not on the cards, but maybe a mixed marriage will be on the cards. I don't know. But right now, I'm doing my thing. I'm studying. She's studying too. But it's just a wonderful time for me.
And you're busy mingling stuff, but not your assets yet.
No.
Well, okay. So the next thing is you're going to get yourself a job with a British company after graduation.
I got a job here in Britain, and I'm doing the right thing. I'm paying my taxes. I have a whole profile with the British tax system. I'm doing the right thing. I'm beginning to invest. I realized I could, with my British salary, I could buy somewhere. I got a little apartment somewhere that, it's an up and coming area. I couldn't afford too much, but it's great. And I'm still seeing Felicity. Why wouldn't I? She's great. She's she's a British girl. She's happy here. I get to meet her parents now, and they know my name. Ted, they call me. And it's great. You know what?
Does Felicity help you with your American tax returns at all?
Felicity? What?
Does Felicity, does she ever mention to you that you're supposed to do American tax returns?
No. I'm working in Britain. I'm paying British taxes. I have my tax returns. I've got these all sorts of paperwork and everything. Just like Felicity.
But hang on, he hasn't filed anything with the IRS. What's he done wrong here, panel?
Oh dear.
Oh
dear.
Oh, you're in trouble.
The IRS? What's that?
Okay, what should he have done? Panel, anybody?
Well, you have to file income tax returns with the U.S. because you're a U.S. citizen.
Yeah?
Whether you like it or not, you have to file. You haven't.
I don't like it. How's that?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Does the IRS give him money back? Is that the point of a tax return? Does he get some money back?
No. Not
What's the
normally.
point of doing it
So
then?
I just give them money, and that's
Ted,
what.
go off and file your tax returns
Okay,
right now.
I'll file my tax. I file tax returns. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and next thing you could do is, I think it's about time you could sell your flat and actually get married to
Well,
Felicity.
this is it. Things are
honest
going
woman
really
up
well. I bought this apartment in this up-and-coming area. It up and came, and I am up and going. I bought it for $100,000. This apartment now I'm selling for $250,000. It's great, and so really we can afford something fantastic when we're going to get married. The parents have approved me. They still call me Ted, and as yet I don't know their first names. But the thing is, we have a respect. We're going to buy something together. I sold my apartment. I'm really delighted, and it means we can afford somewhere fantastic for the two of us to begin our lives together.
And you've got two horrible words to tell him, haven't you, panel? And they are, rearrange this, gains, capital. What's the story here?
You're going to have to pay capital gains tax.
Why?
Because
I live there.
I know.
It wasn't an asset. I was living there. I'm reinvesting it in another property in Britain.
Sorry to say, the U.S. government is going to tax any gains over $250,000. Yeah. You get the first $250,000 worth of gain free, but you're definitely going to have to pay tax if you made some big bucks on on the sale of your house.
So off you go and fill in your capital gains return. Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
No, wait.
Oh,
Did you pay off your mortgage?
You also got to remember, you got to do all this in dollars. So you got to figure out how many dollars you paid for the house.
That's an advisor helping me now, I'm hoping. I don't, how do I do that? When is the exchange rate? In 1950?
The exchange rate when you bought the house.
When I bought the house?
Yeah. And
Not
then,
when I sold it?
no, you use that to determine how much you received in dollars.
Difference between the purchase price and the sale price. You take your purchase price and the exchange rate on date of purchase and the exchange rate on date of sale. Difference is your gain. So you know what? If you bought it for 100,000 pounds and you sold it for 100,000 pounds, you still may have a gain for U.S. tax purposes, because you look at the exchange rate on date of purchase and the exchange rate on date of sale.
Yeah.
No, but hang on, panel. You're being really horrible. Look, it's his wedding day. He's getting married today to
We're getting
Felicity,
married,
and you're hitting him with all
We're
this.
getting married, and now we are gonna commingle. It's not a dirty word. You know, we bought the house together. It's gonna be a house that may be fit for a family. We're gonna have share. We're married, for goodness sake. With joint accounts, bank accounts, unit trust, whatever, mortgage. It's gonna be a real life together. Felicity and I, we're gonna share everything. Why wouldn't you?
I think he's forgotten to do something, panel.
Well, I said this earlier, when you give Felicity things, that's a gift, and we tax gifts.
I give her something and I get taxed.
That's it.
She gets taxed. She's not even a citizen.
No, she doesn't get taxed, you get taxed.
Oh. Okay, so I can't give her anything.
That's right.
Okay, thanks.
That's a simple answer.
Do you love your job?
How many Christmases do you have that you never give it?
So a gift tax? Okay.
Wait. Tell
What's
the poor
happening?
guy.
Darlene.
Come on, you gotta be able to give her something, right?
Can I-
The U.S. government allows you to give what I think it's $139,000 a year. A year. That's some good bucks.
139. Why that figure?
That would buy her a nice fur coat.
139? What is
I
that?
don't know. They kind of like those odd figures.
Okay. Well,
Well,
That's the
you've
tax-free.
aged him terribly. Look, he's aged about 30 years in the last few moments. And he's already now beginning to think about his dream house, his investment for the future, his retirement.
it's time to invest for the future. You know, for my retirement, for a family. Maybe we will have a family. You know, it's time to think about that. It's time to put some money aside. You know, mutual funds, investment accounts. Maybe they're in the UK, I don't know, maybe they're offshore. We'll have to see, you know, what's most tax efficient for me and Felicity. I've got some great ideas. Maybe it's time to buy property. I don't know, what should I do? There's time to start saving for my future. I'm not gonna live forever. I'm not gonna work forever.
Yeah, you are.
Am I?
You have to pay off the US government. You are sending off that little form to the US Treasury every year, the FBAR form, aren't you?
F-bar.
Yes.
Report a foreign bank account. You have to report your signature authority over all foreign accounts. You know that account that Felicity had and you now have jointly?
Yeah.
And the one that you had that you now own jointly?
Yeah.
You're going to have to do that form and tell the U.S. government what the name of the bank is, the address, and the highest value during the year.
Okay, so it's an easy process.
It's easy.
I have to do
It's
the FINBAR
painless.
every year for every account.
Every account. It's painless.
Every year?
Every account.
Oh, only once a year then.
Only once.
Okay. It's easy.
Easy.
But I've got some good news.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. You've somehow you have managed to.
Okay, so we had two children, two beautiful children.
That's all that
you know,
commingling.
just a couple of years apart. Two beautiful children, a boy and a girl, Michelle and Barack. And you know, we had to register. I want them to be citizens. So I went to register them. They exist now, don't they? With you guys, and they're gonna have a life of this to look forward to.
Yeah.
Even though they have British accents, but what do I need? They got passports. What do I need to? What else?
There's something gone wrong with the forms.
Oh, you have
And
to
there's
get a
forms
social
and penalties. What's he done
What
wrong?
do I have to do?
Oh, no, you haven't done anything
Are there
wrong.
an asset?
You're going
Do I
to have
get-
to.
do I get child tax? What's going on?
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong at all. It's just that Felicity's dad seems to have put a lot of money in trust for them.
Well, he's a nice guy. He's going to get taxed on that as well? Or
No.
Michelle and Barack?
Michelle and
Michelle
Barack,
Barack.
maybe. Depends, and if they take any money out of the trust. They may have reporting requirements with regards to that trust, yeah.
Well, but I think the message
But
here is
the
that
issue is-
you've got to fill in the right forms, otherwise there are severe penalties.
Correct. You must fill in the right forms.
So you need the best possible advice. That's what you did wrong.
Okay, so I didn't fill in the forms. Okay, now it's time, I think it's time. I'm so delighted to be a citizen of this country. I noticed, I was listening earlier, you said there were 5 options. Is the 6th option to renounce citizenhood?
Yeah.
You can.
Okay,
Yes,
that sounds
there's
good.
of course an income tax if you do that, but
Oh no. Anyway, I'm proud of my country. I'm gonna renew my passport. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna renew my passport. It's getting a bit dog-eared, you know, with my trips to all sorts of places around Europe, around the world, you know, with the children. I've renewed my passport. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Just
Nothing wrong. And renew the passport. Yep. Good job. Well
Okay,
done.
there I go. Look at me.
one small thing. The IRS know who you are now.
Oh, yeah.
The IRS have been informed. If you filled in your passport, they know who you are and where you live. So they're following you. You know the guys looking at you on the beach? That was them, probably.
Really? I thought that was, you know, Juan and Jose were interested in something else.
Your
That was the
name,
IRS.
your name and your address and your social security number will be handed over to the IRS. This never happened before.
Just so they
This
can
is a
send
new
me a
thing.
Christmas card.
They can if they wish, and a birthday card if they really want.
Oh, my date of birth as well. Okay, so
It's all there.
I got a new passport. I have a new photo done. You know, I'm aging well, I think.
But I've got some bad news. I've got a message from Felicity. She wants a divorce. Divorce.
I don't know what I was doing. I was working hard. I was trying to make something of our future. But Felicity, maybe it was Jose on that beach I mentioned, but what happened? Felicity and I, our lives just grew apart, you know. We had to split things. You know what? She had the house. Of course she has the house. The children would stay with her. I got some of the money. We sorted out some of the assets. You know, she had some stuff. I had some stuff. We're trying to make it clear, but, you know, we're still talking to one another. We're still communicating.
But there was a property settlement. She got some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest problem when an American divorces a non-American, when you make a property settlement, our tax system treats it like it's a sale. So if there's a gain on that deemed sale,
Okay, we sold at the bottom of the market. You know, there was no gain. There was no gain. It was a loss, you know.
you don't get no advantage of losses. But if there is a gain, you have to pay tax on it.
I pay tax
You pay tax
on the gain
on the house.
that she's
or
living in,
Yes.
that's appreciating
Yes.
in her name.
Yes.
Great.
I told you not to marry her.
Yes, you did.
I'm just confused here how Ted has any money left at all.
I don't have any money
He keeps giving it to the
That's
IRS.
why I said you'll be working for
for the rest of my life.
rest of your
What
life.
about I get Felicity to become a citizen?
She will come to us and we'll tell her no.
Okay, so yeah, so it's time. I'm looking forward to the, you know, retiring. I'm still investing, and you know, maybe it's time I did retire.
I was going to say, your kids, though,
Yeah.
now that you're divorced, now they're not getting their passport, right? So they're going to be all right?
They don't get a passport now.
They're not renewing their U.S. passports.
They're not renewing, so they're no longer citizens to join this charade. Is that right? Well, it's time for me to
is that
retire.
right?
They can expatriate at age 18 and a half and not pay the expatriation tax. So that might be an
They
option.
can expatriate. Is that a
Give
word?
up their citizenship.
That means they're not a citizen any longer, and you pay an expatriation tax.
Well, no,
So
not at the age of 18 and a half. If they give it up between 18 and 18 and a half, then they
got 6 months window to decide
yeah,
whether
6 months. 6 months. It's a big
there's an
decision at age
expatriation
18.
tax. I can't even say it. How much is it? Well, everyone's thinking that now for the children. What is it? How much is it?
No, it depends on. Okay, your kids were dual nationals at birth, right?
Yeah. Well, Felicity's British.
Yeah,
Through and
so
through.
dual nationals at birth.
Yeah.
So they would not be subject to the expatriation tax. So that's an exception to the rule. Very nice
Why?
for
Just
them.
because they're British? What if I married a...
Because they were dual nationals at birth, both
Okay.
American and British at birth. And they're living in the country of their dual nationality. So the rest of those Americans who give up citizenship are more than likely subject to the exit tax, the expatriation
It's a
tax.
very simple tax. It's just a deemed capital gain on your worldwide assets. You add everything up, take away debts, mortgages, credit card debts. As if you died, add everything up, and you pay tax on the capital gain.
15%.
But the message is, even though you're retired, keep filing. But another small bit of bad news here, Ted. You're now dead. There is Felicity. And
They can't come after me now. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm history.
Okay.
Don't tell me. There's worse to come. What do I have to do now I'm dead?
You didn't file your paperwork. Your assets are frozen. The tax man's trying to trace the money. What should Felicity be doing at this point?
Cry.
She shouldn't have divorced him.
She shouldn't have divorced me.
now, isn't he? He's dead. He killed him.
Can we have that exit? We can get remarried, like repatriate once I'm dead? What's that?
Not when you're dead.
If they'd stayed together, everybody thinks, if I die, I can give everything to my spouse tax-free. she's not an American. He can't give her things during life tax-free. He can't give her things at death tax-free. There's some little gizmos you can do to defer it, but basically, he's going to owe tax when he dies. So don't die. Work forever. Just keep working.
But what about the children? I mean, what about their inheritance?
The
Let's talk about
inheritance. What
last thing.
happens now? I'm gone. I'm history. I didn't do the paperwork, but what happens now? They're going to come after my descendants?
They're not for you, but when Felicity dies and she leaves assets to the kids, they're going to have to tell the government of all the assets that they've inherited from their non-American mom.
Right.
And again, if they don't tell, there's a big penalty. So we'll find out.
We?
Yes.
You're an IRS agent now as well.
No, I'm an American
like all
citizen.
these Swiss banks.
I'm an American citizen, and I want you to pay tax so I can pay less.
Even though you don't live there.
Well, I don't pay tax there either, but that's...
You must get a good tax advisor.
I do.
So,
Those are U.S. citizens.
Oh, they're expatriated.
Well, if they're expatriated, then the only problem they will have is if Felicity had assets in the United States. We end up with a lot of clients who invest in U.S. stocks and bonds. And while it's not subject to estate tax when you die, because we have a treaty, the mortgage, or the, what are they called? The
Merrill
people-
Lynch?
Merrill Lynch's and whatnot. They won't release the assets to you until you get an IRS clearance. So you will effectively, the decedent will have to file an estate tax return in the U.S. to get the clearance. Normally what happens in our case is people don't find out about this till 6-9 months after death. Then they come to us. We file the return. It will take about a year for the IRS to issue the clearance letter. So it's almost 2 years after death before you can get some of the U.S. assets released.
You'll also find we do income tax returns for several people on behalf of their estate after they have died, which is a nuisance because there's no one to ask what the income was from 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, and children often don't know. So it's an absolute nuisance, but there's income tax returns to be prepared as well for the years that you were too feeble and old before you died.
what should I have done then to save
I
my
think you
children?
I was also going to just clarify that in the divorce scenario, even though your kids aren't taxable, you do live on through something called your estate. It stays alive and it pays taxes on the worldwide assets that you owned at the time of your death as an American.
They're Americans when they were born, whether they get a passport or not.
Doesn't matter whether you get a passport. Passport's irrelevant.
So
I think the message is don't be American, but if you are, then fill in the forms and get the best advice you can.
don't be American, fill in the forms, don't have children, don't marry a non-American.
No mingling.
Go back to America.
Actually, don't marry.
Don't
If you're
marry,
on
just
tax
don't
exempt.
marry.
Actually, I'm just getting news that Paul McCartney has divorced Nancy, has gone back to the British girl, so obviously the panel has worked. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Neil Mullarkey. Thank you. And thanks also to our distinguished panel. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, panel.